Ben the Tuluinga. Now this was my original sensei. This was my original bodyguard. This big guy's name was Ben. So I came to Ben 8th grade year when he wasn't there 7th. And he introduced me to our culture. And he told me that I've been slipping. So first thing, when I see Ben, it's hella freaking crazy because he's nonchalant. I would never expect him to have such an explosive personality. He was the first Samoan I met. He was literally so freaking funny, and this is all a part of my 8th grade year. Justin, Ben, and Mr. Pleasure. 8th year was the best year of my life, and Benjamin helped me a lot throughout life, throughout anything. He told me a whole lot. Now this is a story of how I met Ben and how me and him became, the dark version of Dabby and Arturo. So Ben first thing sees me and I start singing this rap song in front of Mr. Pleasure. And I had this reputation ever since 7th grade. First, let me get into 7th grade before we met Ben. 7th grade, I had a horrible reputation with the popular kids, but I had a beautiful reputation with Mr. Pleasure. And Mr. Pleasure literally just taught me everything. He always paid me homage. It didn't matter what I did. I was his favorite student because I was the goody-goody two-shoes, but that backfired on me as soon as I met Ben. Ben can be a good student and he can also be the life of the party and be someone likable, and that's what he taught me how to be. He taught me that even if you're a bad guy, you can still make people laugh, you can still make people feel good, you can still literally make people enjoy your time while you're there. And Ben is literally the funniest guy I've met, next to Justin. And that whole stupid ass penis in the butt scheme was in front of Ben. Just the beginning of his cracks. He's all like, you do realize if you keep laughing, that means you like that stuff, right? And the whole Be Mature scheme, Ben passed the potato. And he literally posted me out of nowhere. Are you thinking what I'm thinking there? So I'm like, dude, you don't have to go there. He's like, no, because I don't have a dirty mind. He would call me out on my autistic habits. I would laugh out of nowhere. And he's like, I swear you be lying sometimes. Eris be like, oh, I was watching Family Guy last night. Ben is the only real impersonation on my channel that I do, because Ben was the MVP of 8th grade. He made the 8th grade talent show, and Gio and Gemini came in the top 10, and I didn't even make the cut. But I still beat Gio before then, so it was okay. But Ben made number 1 on the talent show by being from a different culture and playing the ukulele. So yes, Ben is the reoccurring thing in my videos that is so fucking funny. Literally, was the leader of 8th grade. He's like, the T's and the bus go up and down, up and down. After Mr. Punch already roasted me. The worst part about that is he did that in front of Ben. The first thing that Ben does is he teaches me how to dance. And he literally shows me how animated you have to be. He literally showed me moves that Taz couldn't do. And literally, Ben went crazy. And then Ben and me squared up in a fight. It was winter break and it was crazy. So Anti Itachi comes over at Ben's house. I'm like, Ben's pretty cool. So he comes over after me and him have a sparring match. So here's what happens is I square up like the Tekkaichi tournament. And this is literally where I'm coming off my anime nerd, where I'm first being introduced to hip hop, and literally I have the fun time with Ben. So literally, I literally put my arms out in the air like I'm Son Goku, and Ben's like, you're supposed to block your face. So me and Ben go all 3 rounds, and literally, so I'm just swinging, and Ben is literally just like throwing hook after hook. I think I'm subconsciously dodging. It was a long time ago, but I really went hard because I kept on swinging at Ben, and literally, I actually landed 1 hit on Ben. And then Ben threw one hook and I ducked, and then he threw another hook and knocked me out. It was hella funny. His cousins are like, how many fingers am I holding up? Throwing up the middle finger and shit. Ben was the first time where I got rocked, and it was actually pretty fun. So he squares up with Anti-Predator Itachi, and I see what flight is. I literally did not know humans can fly when they fight. When I saw him fight, he was here and there. I'm like, why is he so literally walking circles around Ben, literally in and out, circle to circle? I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? How is he flying on his feet? It was crazy. And literally, so he ducked, and literally Ben actually got a hit on my brother. I'm like, oh, and shit like that. So I tried to scold my brother the night that happened. I'm all like, Ben got you. He's like, nigga, you're the one who got knocked out. But you know what's the crazy part about that is earlier that same day on winter break, me and my brother had dance battle at Ben's house, and I beat him. And he's like, bro, he actually won. He's like, bro, yeah, congratulations, you whooped my ass. Like, finally, you know, he was talking all that shit, but I actually beat him. So, me and him, that's before I faced Gio, and it was crazy. 8th grade with me, with none but character development, me and Jaylene, character development, nothing but character development in 8th grade. A&V appraisal, character development, The Good Life of One Piece, A Good Life A&V I made in 8th grade. So, it's kind of crazy. On the dance topic, so me and Ben have to think of a way to get to a dance. So literally, so I asked Ben if he has enough money to get to a dance. He's like, oh, it's easy. And so literally, all I had to do is go in my auntie's room and be like, auntie, you have $1? And then I have to go to the uncle like, uncle, you have $1? Let's go to mom like, mom, you have $1? Literally. Then Dr. cousin, you have $1? And then ask my other cousin, you have 50 cents? Then talk to my uncle, can you have the keys? Grab the keys and go to the car and grab 50 cents right out of the door. And so Ben commended me after I beat Gio because he beat me off screen, and that was really informative. That was really dope. And that same night is where I met Randolph the Brutal. It was Randolph who taught me a new style of dance. Literally got in my head. You know, there are other styles of dance. Looking at Randolph, the first time I seen someone cut was Randolph the Brutal. He is getting his own video along with Edward, but that all happened in 8th grade. All this spontaneous action happened in 8th grade. There was a time where I used Sanji as Rick Ross, and when Here I Am just came out, I saw Anti-Predator Itachi, the new Here I Am A&V. He's like, no, you did that new song that's on the radio, and I chose Sanji as Rick Ross, and he's all like, oh! That part where he's like, cheers on her, I have Sanji with all those women from Lowtown. And he's like, oh! Nothing is better than 8th grade year. Literally telling him how Mr. Pleasure roasted me with the tut. And he's like, dude, you're getting good. I was getting better at everything. Dealing with Justin and Ben, oh my god, that was... Even Mr. Pleasure can't match up to that. And I've proven this. Because there was this one time we were playing the game where if you guess the trivia, you get to shoot the ball in the box and you get a prize and shit. And it was so freaking funny. Okay, so the question was, what is the hottest continent? And literally, I'm all like, Australia. And Mr. Pleasure is like, it gets really hot in Australia. I would have picked Australia, but it's not Australia. And then he's like, Ben. And Ben's all like, Africa! And he's like, Ben gets it. And Ben's all like, I got that from watching all the naked black women at the Discovery Channel. Ben was so funny, literally. There was nobody funnier than Ben. Because there was this one time where we had therapy session with Forrest. And no, Forrest is cool. Forrest was the right guy to listen to Mac Dre. So Forrest is rolling from one of my jokes and his face turned red. And I'm all like, you look like the guy in the Airhead commercial. And so Ben starts busting out laughing. He's like, no, he looks like a Kool-Aid man. There was this Mexican teacher named Mr. Tostada, and there was this one time where there were these two twins, and they both were like pita heads, and it was so fucking funny. They were waiting for me to call this shit out, and I talked to them, and I'm all like, he looked like Mr. Potato Head. And Ben agreed with me, and they gave me detention. And we still had Mr. Kubiak. So Mr. Kubiak was my teacher in junior high, and Mr. Kubiak was so freaking cool. He wasn't as funny as Mr. Pledger, but that whole, oh, we're gonna smoke marshmallows and weed our dogs, it's all Mr. Kubiak. Literally. And Mr. Kubiak lived in Santa Cruz, and so Ben's all like, oh, how does it feel like living in Santa Cruz? And he's like, oh, well, you know, it's pretty casual, it's pretty cool and stuff like that. And so Ben's like, oh, at the Santa Cruz boardwalk, something, boardwalk! So Ben teaches me everything I need throughout the time. So if you want to ask me who was the most multi-dimensional, unfortunately Ben was not as smart as Arturo, but Ben was pretty freaking funny. And that concludes Benjamin the Tuluwinga.